What's up, everyone? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, NVIDIA, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down why the market's kind of dumping like this, what you should be watching for as time goes on. But let me just mention that I'm not a financial planner. Make sure you take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire community as a whole. Anyways, guys, SPY pumped all the way up to about 554. We saw a very, very nice push all the way up here. I was hoping we'd get closer to 556. Instead of continuing to hold up, we actually saw a massive rug pull. We actually ended up breaking below 550, and this happened ever since this economic data came out at 10 o'clock a.m. So there was a big move. I was hoping the market would hold up a lot better, but we ended up getting this rug pull instead. Now, the data was actually not that bad. New orders are slowing down, so the market might see this as a sign of weakening in the economy. And then the manufacturing PMI was also kind of weak. This is once again showing a weakness in that sector, and prices actually went up a little bit. So this could be a little bit more inflationary. If you look at the facts that we have 52.9 on the gauge, that's above expectations. So this was a little bit negative data. Prices are going up. The manufacturing sector is slowing down as a whole. The unemployment numbers we're looking like so at least in the morning, and then the manufacturing employment is actually slow as well. So manufacturing is slowing down here in the U.S. That's something else that's worth noting. That's what happened as of July, and prices went up just a little bit. So I think the market's getting a negative reaction thus far. But the question is, can we try to reclaim some key levels? So right now on SPY, we're going to be looking at this 547 area to see if we can try to reclaim this or not. This is critical support. This is where we had this key level, key resistance becoming support. We're kind of losing it, so it's not a very, very good sign. But I think that the close is going to be very important. If we fail to reclaim this, we could be dipping all the way down to 545. But I do think that there's going to be some buyers trying to defend 547, trying to get us back towards that area. So watch and see how well we hold up. If we don't hold this, we could dip even lower. There's also a possibility that they're dumping us ahead of the big tech earnings. Don't forget that for tomorrow, we have Apple. I'm sorry, not tomorrow. For today, after the market closes, we have Apple and Amazon's earnings being announced, and then there's going to be a big reaction tomorrow. That's what I meant to say. Tomorrow there's going to be a very, very big reaction. So they could be getting ready for that as well. But we're actually losing our key supports right now. We'll have to watch and see how well this ends up developing. But SPY is showing some weakness as of right now. We're even below our 20 EMA. So we'll see how this ends up developing. The chart's looking weak. We'll have to see if we can reclaim 547. If we don't do so, we're going to remain bearish. I'll be looking for 545, then eventually 544. And if 544 breaks, we have 542.5 as support. So, yes, we look a little bit more bearish, but don't forget we have big tech earnings coming out. Could they be dumping things to buy things up before a big pump because of big tech? Or are we about to get a rug pull because of big tech? We'll just have to wait and see. As of right now, we'll see how well we end up holding up. On ES, I was looking for a nice rebound. This was looking bullish at first, only for us to get a big rug pull instead. So now we're testing this previous resistance becoming support near the 55.20 area. If that fails, we got to see if we can hold 55.20. If this ends up failing, if we don't hold this for over an hour, there's going to be a chance that this could be continuing to dip all the way down towards much lower levels to about 5,500 flats. So just be careful on ES. There's a risk of some downside. You want to be watching to see if we hold that support at 5,500. For SPX, we're starting to fill this gap below, so it's actually not a good sign. We have this gap support to be watching for around 54.80. If that fails, especially after big tech earnings, this gap could get filled all the way down to 54.36. That could lead to some downside. So just want to give you guys a heads up about that. There is a risk of downside. The bears are once again taking a stand, trying to fight back. On top of all of this, we also have the QQQ. This is rejecting. We needed to hold above 472 to remain bullish. Because we're losing that, I'm going to be looking at 467 as an area of interest. That's going to be our 20 EMA. If we don't close above this or hold this, there's going to be a risk of dipping all the way down to about 462. So we'll have to see if we hold 466. That's going to be a very, very key level to 467. 466 to 467. If we fail in that range and we don't hold above that or within that range, then we could be coming down to fill our gap all the way down closer to 460. So we'll see if that ends up being the case or not. If we do hold this, we could try to rebound, but so far we are looking more bearish. So just be careful on the QQQ. For others out there, we have Aapl. Aapl was trying to rebound only to reject. There's going to be a big reaction after earnings. Is Aapl about to get a rug pull or is it going to, continue to rally? It all depends on earnings. Right now, the share price is looking a little bit more bearish. We have to see if 220 holds. If not, we got this gap to fill all the way down to the 218s. So be careful with Aapl, guys. There is a risk of downside for it. For other stocks like Tesla and Nvidia, Tesla is starting to reject. We were trying to break 232 only to come back down. So I'll be watching to see if we could hold this support. We have this support here around this. Let's just double check this. I'm going to be looking at 222 as a key support, not to mention this 224 area. We have those two areas that are worth watching. If we lose 224, look at 222, and we have resistance at 225.75. So overall, Tesla's continuing to fall with the market, looking a little bit more bearish. There is a risk of this tipping lower, so just be careful. There is weakness on Tesla as well. And I think we're just going to continue to get a little tight as time goes on. We had this uptrend that was being established. We're technically on an uptrend. If we end up losing 219, then that's when things could turn bearish, like really bearish for Tesla. So we're still technically holding supports, but there is a risk of this dipping even lower to get closer to the lower levels. So we'll see how Tesla holds up. For Nvidia pumped all the way up to about the 121 area, only to reject. Now we're going to be looking at key support around this. First off, we have 114 and then 112 is two supports. 112 is critical for NVIDIA. That's where our range happened to be. If 112 breaks, this thing is going to be dipping lower, by the way. We're just barely holding this 114 area. I think we could dip a little bit more on NVIDIA. We also have resistance very close to about that 116 area. Right now, we still look a little bit more bearish if we fail at 114, so just be mindful of that. For others out there, we have the IWM. It actually is dumping right now. We're down over 3%. So small caps are taking a big hit. Going to be looking at support at 216. We got to hold that. If this doesn't hold, this is going to be dipping down to fill this gap towards 213. So watch 216 as critical support. We look a little bit more bearish. I think we might be testing that. For Coinbase, we came down to fill the gap down to 218 as we lost support. So it's still looking a little bearish. We could dip a little bit more. It's about the 214 area. So just be careful on coin. Amazon was trying to break out to about 192, trying to fill this gap, and it came just short. Now we're dipping back down, so I'm going to be looking at 185 as support and a potential target if we don't hold 187. So watch those levels. It is looking like it's going to dip a little bit more, so we'll see if 187 holds us or not. Otherwise, 185 is coming, and we'll see what kind of reaction we get after earnings. So it's not the end of the world for Amazon. Meta pumped all the way up to 530 only to reject. So we have this support right here that's worth watching. We have basically the 505 area and then 500. Those are going to be two supports. If 500 breaks, this thing could easily start dipping to much lower levels. So we'll just have to see how things end up going. So watch this 500 support and then and see if this holds up. If that breaks, we'll be dipping all the way down towards 490. This is like 494. So be careful on Meta. We look a little bit more bearish. We could be dipping to lower 500s. So give it some time. For Microsoft, we're trying to rebound a bit only to end up at a key level. So watch 422 as resistance. If this breaks, we'll be looking for basically 429. If this rejects, we'll be dipping. Watch this resistance right here. Microsoft is still showing some strength, but it's still shuffling at 423. There's a chance it might reject here. So just be careful. I think it might shuffle and possibly reject. And then Google, it's just continuing to consolidate around 172 to 174. So it may just continue to do so. Anyways, guys, the market has been showing some weakness, but don't forget about that key level very close to 547. We'll see if buyers come back to try to defend it or not. Our 20 EMA, excuse me, around the 4-hour time frame is at the 547 range. We'll see how well SPY holds up, but just note that there is weakness on the charts, and we'll see how things end up going. We have big earnings coming out later on. We'll see if we get some kind of a good reaction or not, but just note that we got to be holding 547 on SPY. We have to hold this. I need to see this bounce off this. If it does not hold this, especially going into tomorrow, not going to be the best of signs. So just be careful, guys. Know the market is showing some weakness, but watch some buyers try to defend the supports we're currently at, and we'll see how things go from here. With that being said, I want to thank you all so much for listening. Have a great day. Don't forget to smash the like button, and peace out.